I think that is the point of difference with our gardens. I think that they make you, I want them to feel comfortable. I want somebody to come in, want you to have friends around, and the friends feels more comfortable in your space.
We're here in Central Mangrove about to go and meet Michael Cooke from Michael Cooke Garden Design. And I'm really excited for this one because this is Kathy and Michael's home, which they've created and made extremely special over time. So I really want to take you all through, meet Michael, hear his story, and see more about the beautiful garden they've created. So you had no gardening in your family before you got into it?
No,
like
not
taking
much.
the nursery?
No, mum and dad weren't really gardeners. No.
So mum and dad didn't influence you on getting in the garden and
No,
living
not
at
at all.
home?
I left school early to work in the nursery.
Yeah. When did the design part of it start then? From working in the
Design
nursery,
really
nursery?
came as a great way of selling plants when I had a nursery. So people would just come into the nursery and say, what will I do with this plant? I really like it. How will I use it? And I used to go out to their place and look at it and say, this is what you need, and you need lots more of it.
And people would just get through the community going, hey, I would love for you to select the plants here and come out to my house and show me.
Well, it just was a far better result than them coming in and just buying a plant and wondering, what should I do with it?
Yeah. Did you draw it then?
No.
At all? No?
Rarely.
It was just all on placement?
Yeah.
How did you describe to someone what it could be? Because without drawing and a little bit of visual, some people do struggle to see end result.
I don't think even back then that people even thought of drawing garden stuff, So I used to just throw my arms around, describe how a tree grew. That's just what it was, yes.
Should we check out the studio?
Sure.
Let's go and have a look at it. Did you always diaritise in here, in this space, when you were?
No, I always keep my
entries?
diaries beside my bed. So it's the last thing I do when I go to sleep, yeah. I just write in the diary when I go inside after a day's work.
Yeah.
And then the weekend.
How do you describe your style?
I think it's not my style necessarily, it's the house that I'm designing or the owner I'm designing for. But certainly I want something that feels good rather than just looks good. I want something that, that's got some heart.
Like this is your first concept, this is an example of that, right?
Yes.
And you've just gone from what's in your mind, but where does it start? Where does the inspiration for you come from when you start putting pen to paper, the very first moment?
The environment and probably the architecture. So what the owner wants is also part of it, but certainly when I first see a house, you've got to think, what have I got to accentuate and what have I got to hide? So there'll be good bits and bad bits.
And the process of you getting from concept through to, I guess, construction, what does that look like from your
sometimes it might be quick, sometimes it might take many years. And not everything with the garden gets done at one time. So if it was a development that had to be completed straight away and sold, possibly then it happens all at once. But a lot of these projects are big, especially an acreage garden, it might take half a lifetime like my own has to do something with.
Do your clients have patience for that?
Nobody has patience. I mean, we all want it now.
Yeah.
But some people have more patience than others. Yeah.
Would it help bringing clients to here and showing and giving examples and telling them the story of how long things have taken to mature and develop?
I think it definitely does, but I don't think most people would believe that I started with nothing here as well, because they just imagine that you started with these trees, you started with something nice here to begin with. I did start with nothing, the same as most people do.
What was it when you first came here?
Just bushland, so we cleared it all. There was a little white fibro house and a couple of concrete runner strips ran down to the house, and that was it.
And I want to go through your garden now, because you mentioned obviously you started with nothing.
Yeah.
And when I look around from here, there's a lot going on out there.
Sure.
So do you want to let's go for a wander and have a look at what you've created over time? And how long have you been in this house for now?
1988, we first saw the property. The house was only little. I think we waited a couple of years before we moved up here, and then we built over the top of that old house 5 years later.
Did the garden start after the house?
No, we'd started on the outside, so we'd been clearing, we'd been planting trees. So the old house still had the garden that's here now, but we just redeveloped that part.
Did you have a plan?
Absolutely no plan for this place, no. So a little bit of a vision, but really the plants are probably they probably have shaped it probably more than anything else. So, when you think that I was a nurseryman. I just needed to find spots for all these plants to go. I had so many plants, but what was I going to do with them? Yeah. And I just had to find somewhere to put them all. And then over time, I've lived with some of those mistakes, and then I've changed others. Yeah.
Right. How do you start your day if you think about home, and what does an ideal day look like for you?
Always up early. Go to the gym normally 5 days a week, or walk around. I normally go for a walk around the garden every morning.
Yeah.
I mean, there are just some parts of living in the country, I guess you have to do every day. So whether it's feeding the horses, cleaning stables, feeding the chooks, feeding the dogs, watering the nursery, watering the pots out in the courtyard, they're all just part of my everyday. Yeah.
Wow. Just looking at this too, this sculptural box hedge, how long has it taken to develop this?
So this was actually part of that original garden when we moved here. So there was a straight hedge that used to run from the corner of the house in over to here, and then over time, when the house was rebuilt over the top of that, this was the original straight hedge, now turned into something else.
Right. And you just started grooming it, training it, clipping it to capture this shape, or you've just let it go and
looking
look back at
a little
points?
Yeah, a little bit was just really looking at the plant and seeing, could we make it a different, or could I make it a different shape? Yeah, I think I just like that softness here now instead of having all that hard, sharp line. And they're fun, you know, I mean, it's a bit boring coming out here clipping 3 or 4 times a year, but it's quite fun doing this one.
Yeah, it's amazing. Do you think about the integration of home and garden when you're designing? Not only for yourself, but for clients, and the different experiences that you have around the garden, and actually giving someone reason to leave the house, enter the garden, and find different spaces to enjoy?
So I think, especially now, people with kids that never want to leave the house, so you're trying to get people outside, trying to get kids outside into the garden, trying to have people out using their space. 100%.
And you built this from
yes,
scratch?
My own very dodgy building skills. So
this looks
I know how to design a good garden, but I don't know how to do all the building. So I'm not a builder myself. Can't build stone walls, can't build a chook house.
It's not much. This looks like the work that's out there for some builders these days.
It's still up there, but it's a little bit wobbly.
It's the code. It's beautiful. It's still holding the test of time. Was it recycled material back then?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, it was old packing cases actually. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You brought it with you?
Yeah.
From the nursery then, back then?
Would have been the nursery back then. Yes. Wow. So this area down here used to be the. We had it all fenced off, and this was our originally sort of like the big veggie garden and all the fruit trees.
Okay. So do you call this part of the orchard then?
This is the orchard.
Yeah. And then there's a huge big box in the middle here again.
There's a box in the middle that was my asparagus bed, so a little bit like the garden up the top near the cellar. This was also a big square hedge that we then turned into a random weird shape.
It's incredible.
Yep.
I would ask you if there was vision for this, but I think I may know the answer. Has it just evolved with you over time?
Just evolved, yep. I mean, they're all just little things that sort of give me ideas for what I might be able to do in somebody else's place. So I hate experimenting in somebody's own home, but if I've experimented in our place and it works, then I'll do it for somebody else in a slightly different way.
Yeah. Is it a challenge for you to describe to a client that this is what I've specified and why, and do they ever push back a little bit, or they have any uncertainty on that?
Some people are very happy to go along with everything you say. Some people are very much do as I say. So it really just depends on the vibe I get from the people.
And the other thing, like we are here, we're obviously quite high and up in the hinterland. The soils are probably a lot older and a lot more loamy. As when we go down the bottom of the hill to Matcham Holgate Valleys and those areas, a lot more fertile soil. Have you struggled to grow things up here compared to what you would down the bottom with experimenting?
Here what's different is that we have really good water. So we've got very sandy, quite poor soil. So we couldn't even grow grass when we first came here. So couldn't even grow basically weeds. Very poor on top of the ridge. So there's been years and years and years of horse manure and chicken manure and garden. I mean, we don't dig the garden, we just put more and more stuff on top and it just goes down as a no-dig kind of garden.
Okay, it just decomposes and
so over years, there's just this really good profile that's developed in the soil. Yeah.
Interesting. And nothing like raises over the top of anything? It all just sort of creates a great soil profile?
Just the worms come up and grab it and take it back down deeper.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess when you first started learning about design and just from the nursery, and
Yep.
has it always been about contrast? Depth, colour, height, different leaf structures? Is that always a principle of garden design, or is this something which has just changed over time?
I think it has always been a principle of garden design, but whether I thought about it before, I'm not really sure. Yeah.
A lot more formal gardens earlier on in time?
I think I would have started off with more formal gardens, yes. And that's why I think when I began, I planted windbreaks to begin with, and then I planted hedges to divide the space. I like that English idea of having rooms. So that room idea was also, so it gave us wind protection, but it also divided the garden up and gave us different environments, more wind protection, things in north side, south side, gave us boundaries. And sort of also allowed me to feel like I was in control a little bit more, probably.
Should we go and have a look at the dam?
Sure. Yep.
Did you build that quickly?
Dam was one of the first things that we did when we came up here. At that point, I don't think we actually had the bore. So the bore gives us 50,000 litres of water a day. But when we first started them, we didn't actually have that. So we used to bucket water out of the dam and drive it all around the property and put water on the trees from the back of a drum. So
Wow.
that's why so many things
Why buckets?
just died. Just we didn't have no hoses, no pump, so we used to just fill up with water out of a bucket and into a 44-gallon drum in the back of the ute and
Wow.
water the plane trees.
Did you create this space yourselves when you?
Yes, so this was all sort of just bush through here. So we built the stables, we had the fences done, we cleared it. Every bit of grass that's in the paddock has come in through us. Just digging the garden beds around the house. So we used to pull out a bit of grass from there, put on a bag of chicken poo and put in a bit of grass with a mattock and mow it.
Right. Wow.
So everything's just come from one garden bed around the house.
It's just such a beautiful space, and every time I come here I just feel relaxed, calm.
Well, hope the plants or the garden is what puts you at ease too.
Yeah.
And that's why I do hope that most people, I think that is the point of difference with our gardens. I think that they make you, I want them to feel comfortable. I want somebody to come in, want you to have friends around, and the friends feel more comfortable in your space.
Oh, I think you definitely achieved that. It's so beautiful in itself, and there is lots of formality in it, but it doesn't feel like it's a highly manicured garden, if I was to try and describe that.
I think
You've got such a beautiful blend.
That balance. You have to find that nice balance between wild and kept.
Yeah.
You want enough kept that looks like you love it and maintain it. So I think it's pretty special to have a garden that somebody's looked after for a lifetime or 10 years, 20 years, whatever, however long they've looked after it. You can tell when somebody loves it and looks after it. Same as a house.
It's the wild elements too, though.
Yeah.
There's obviously things that you actually take care of that probably to someone like me it feels like it's just running wild.
Yes.
But you're actually
But
training
even with the pruning, so every year when some of the garden maintenance crews come in, we sort of talk about how we could actually be maintaining a garden but make it look like you haven't been working too hard on it. So there's different ways of pruning that you can do that don't look like you've mutilated the tree. You wouldn't even know that I've been pruning it.
Right.
So shrubs, we can hide the cuts, we can make it look like it just sort of happens naturally.
Right. And looking at your garden now and thinking about all the different spaces and everything you've created, is there a standout part of the garden or something that makes you most proud looking back on it in reflection?
No, I think it's all, it's all got its own thing. It's sort of like somebody saying, tell me your favourite child.
You're not allowed to answer that, are
I
you?
like them all, you're not allowed to answer. Yeah. Look, I love that we started from scratch. We had no idea what we're doing, but this place has been able to teach me what to do for other people. So if I didn't get to experiment here, I wouldn't know what to do for everybody else.
When you get to the end of your life, what do you want to be remembered for?
That's a hard one. I'd like to think that I made a bit of difference, created interest for different people, created a bit of a look, created a softness, I guess, for different people, made other people enjoy their spaces too.
extension of you to others.
Yep. It is sort of funny how there's a part of me in every garden that we've done. There's a part of me in almost every one of those. So whether it's a plant combination or a feeling that you have in an area, or just the way that we entertain, you know, there's a little part of what I've learnt from my life that's gone into every one of those gardens.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay.
Really appreciate you taking the time and sharing the story. And whenever I'm around the coast, I think I can feel your gardens and see them, and I can relate them back to you. So if that's something that you can take from what you want to be known and left for and remembered for, but you are definitely out there in people's gardens and homes, and you definitely have a unique step. Absolutely. You know, and I'm always one. You know, I love, like I was saying before, it's about the cohesion and the mix of home and garden and how people feel and move through spaces. And I love seeing thoughtful design, not only from the house, but through the gardens that all sort of come together. So it's something that I'm always on the lookout for, and asking questions, hey, who did this work?
Yeah, great.
But thank you.
Forward to that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Do you want a coffee?